welcome back to another video, and today I have an absolutely epic post-Battle of Chaos DDD deck profile for you guys. Now without further ado, be sure to smash them and comment down below what you guys think of my take on the deck, and of course stay tuned for a combo video that will be coming up either tomorrow or the day after, so stay tuned for that. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so first off, we're running 3 copies of DD Savant Kepler. Kepler is your best starter by far in the deck. Basically, this card is a 1-card combo that is incredibly powerful. It gets you so much card advantage and is a mandatory 3 of in the deck being able to search you a copy of your Dark Contract from the deck to the hand, which is absolutely incredible. Next, we have 3 copies of DD Savant Copernicus, I think it's called, and this card is really cool. It's basically a Foolish Barrel for your DD monsters on summon. So what you can do with this, you can send the DD Griffin, which is a brand new card from Battle of Chaos, which is absolutely broken, but you can also send DD Lamia, and this card is a pretty awesome starter in the deck, and I really do think it's an incredibly powerful and mandatory 3 of. Next, we have 3 copies of DD Griffin. Now, let's dive into this card, because this card is absolutely broken. It's brand new, coming out in Battle of Chaos, and it's basically everything that DDD has ever needed to become this good. And let me explain why. So as a pendulum effect, you can target a fiend monster you control, and it gains 500 attack for each Dark Contract Spoiler Traps with different names that you control, and in your graveyard, then it pops itself, which is actually extremely relevant because there is a combo where you want it to pop itself, so you can actually get it for free from your hand by only using 1 copy of Savant Copernicus, which is really cool. And then its monster effect is really what makes it so powerful. If you control a DD monster, you can special summon it from your hand in defense position for free, which is amazing by itself. That's all it needs. But on top of that, if it's pendulum summoned, you can discard a DD or Dark Contract card and draw a card, which is amazing recursion, and the deck really revolves around putting stuff in the graveyard, so that's a really good effect. And then probably the second best one after the special summon, if it's special summoned from the graveyard, you can add a DD card from your deck to your hand and accept itself. Now this is absolutely broken because you can add this brand new card, DDD Headhunt, down here, but we'll get into that a bit later because that's also coming out in Battle of Chaos. And for all of you guys who are wondering, you bring this card out from your graveyard by using cards like your DDD Flame King Genghis and your High Flame King Genghis, which is very powerful. Next up, we have 2 copies of DD Lamia. I don't think 3 is necessary for the deck. While it is an incredible card, most of your combos, because of the introduction of Griffin, do not require you to be running 3 copies of this card anymore, and therefore I think 2 is more than enough. On top of that, this card though in general is amazing. It is your only tuner in the deck, so that's how you're making your Cursed King Siegfried, but it's a really amazing card, and yeah, it's just really great to have, and I really do like it at 2. Next, we have 3 copies of DD Swirl Slime. Swirl Slime is one of the best cards. Basically, if it's in your hand, you can fusion summon a DDD fusion monster from your extra deck by using the materials from your hand, including itself. So this basically lets you put 2 DD monsters in the graveyard for free, and then bring out either your normal Flame King Genghis or your High King Genghis, and then since you have 2 in the graveyard, it's extremely easy to revive them later on with the Genghises, and on top of that, it has a broken graveyard effect where you can banish it and special summon a DD monster from your hand, which is incredible as a source of revenue past you working, you know. Then we have 2 copies of DD Necro Slime. Necro Slime is basically a bad Swirl Slime, but Necro Slime is still incredibly powerful, being able to, in the graveyard, fusion summon a DDD fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing materials, including itself, from the graveyard. This card is incredibly easy to get into the graveyard considering how many Foolish Barrels we have in the deck. 1 copy of DD Vice Typhoon. This card is incredible in the deck, and if you guys aren't running this card, then something is wrong. Basically, it's part of your main combo, your 1-card combo with Savant Kepler. Now, this card is basically another fusion card in the graveyard, which is incredibly powerful, and it's a high level, giving you easy access to Flame King High Genghis. Next, we have 2 copies of DD Baphomet. Baphomet is an incredible card too. Basically, you want to be able to pendulum summon this card usually, but having to do other things with it is also really cool. This card basically level modulates any DD monster on the field except itself from a level of 1 to 8, and this is not a once per turn effect. It's a soft once per turn, meaning if you link it off or something and then revive it, you can use it again, which is incredible. This card's really good with DD Lamia, letting you modulate into your Siegfried, which is great. Next up, we have our scales. So those are all the normal monsters, our starters, and now our scales. We have 1 copy of Go DDD Divine Zero King Rage. This card came in the Arc V Manga 7, which is really cool. So that's its only printing, so it is a bit pricier, but this card is worth it. It is your only scale 0 in the deck, and it's one of your main combos to go into this card. Additionally, you really are only using it because it's a scale 0, and it can bring out your Kepler for the 1-card Kepler combo, which is incredible. And then on top of that, when it's in your pendulum zone, if you're to take take effect damage. You actually don't take any effect damage, which is really cool. Next up, we have 2 copies of DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Ragnarok is broken. Basically, if you special summon a DD monster, you can target a DD monster in your graveyard and special summon it, then you take 1000 damage, which is really, really broken. The DD lock in this deck does not matter at all because all of your cards are DDs, so I really do think having this card in is just incredible. 1 copy of DD Savant Thomas. Savant Thomas is an incredible card to have with your Savant Copernicus because that's part of the 1 card Copernicus combo, which lets you add your Griffin to the hand. Because basically, during your main phase, you can add a face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. And what's so cool is you can go Griffin effect of the Pendulum effect to target a fiend monster you control. It gains 500, then it pops itself. Then you can go effect of the Thomas to add back the Griffin from the extra deck, special summon the Griffin, and so on. And you're pretty much good to go from there. So this card is really, really sick in the deck. 1 copy of DDD Chaos King Apocalypse. Apocalypse is really cool. Basically, you can banish 2 DD monsters from your graveyard and special summon itself from the Pendulum Zone. You only go for this card when you think you really do need an extender, but this deck plays through hand traps so easily that this doesn't come up too much. So if there's a card to cut, I would be cutting this one. 1 copy of DD Cerberus. Cerberus is broken. It's your scale 6, and for the 1 card Kepler combo, you usually scale with your Gilgamesh, the 1 copy of Go, and obviously the 1 copy of Cerberus, because Cerberus can modulate the level of Kepler up to 4, which is really cool. So then you can overlay into your Wave King Caesar, which is incredible. And keep in mind, I'll be showing you guys all these combos tomorrow in the combo tutorial. 1 copy of DD Orthros. Orthros is an incredible card. Basically, when you take battle or effect damage, you can special summon it from your hand, and if it's special summoned from the field from your hand, you can't summon fiend monsters for the rest of the turn. And then on top of that, its pendulum effect is once per turn you can target a Spell Trap card on the field and one other DDD or Dark Contract card you control and destroy them. So this is pretty cool. This card does come up actually kind of interestingly enough because you do burn yourself quite a bit, and having that extra extender is pretty nice. Also, just having an extra scale 3 to bring out or something like that in case you draw other scales is pretty nice. Next up, we have the best card in the deck. We have 3 copies of Dark Contract with the Gate. This card searches you any DD card, and this is incredible because it also searches not searches, but well, it can search, but it synergizes with the DD Lamia, obviously being able to send it. And yeah, you normal summon Kepler, search this card, effect of this, search Griffin, full combo. You are good to go. Next, we have 1 copy of Dark Contract with the Swamp King. This is a one-of, but it is an incredibly powerful one-of. It's basically a fusion spell that you can use every turn, which is incredible. 1 copy of Allure of Darkness. This is pretty standard for DDD. 1 copy of 1-for-1. I would never cut this card. It gives you a 4th Kepler. It's incredible. 1 Upstart Goblin for the consistency, even though this deck really never bricks. 1 copy of Foolish Burial to send literally any card you want from your deck, and that's broken in a deck with so many graveyard effects. 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a sick card. Lets you play on hand traps, but the deck just plays through hand traps regardless, so this is additionally an extra interruption, which is really funny. 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. The deck doesn't have that much built-in spell and trap removal, so I do believe that having Cosmic is very important and crucial in the deck. 1 copy of DDD Headhunt. Obviously, this is a new card from Battle of Chaos, and let me tell you guys what this does. This is broken. If you control a DDD monster, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase of the next turn, but its effects are negated and it cannot declare an attack. Also, if it was special summoned from the extra deck, it is treated as a DDD monster. This is incredible because if it was summoned from the extra deck, first of all, you can make this card over here, which is your Machina, which I'll go into that a bit later. It's a brand new card, which is broken. But what's really cool about DDD Headhunt is it's essentially a crackdown that you can use to interrupt your opponent, and on top of that, it does negate the effect, so you can chain it and it negates effects, you steal it, and that's incredible. Yeah, I love this card, and it's just a free search, free plus in the deck because of your Griffin, which is incredible. And then we have 1 copy of Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness. This card is so underrated. It's a free plus that you add in your combo, and basically while you have 2 DD cards in your Pendulum Zones, your opponent can't target monsters on the field with Spell or Trap cards effects, tribute them for a tribute summon, nor use them as a material for fusion, synchro, or Xyz summon. This is incredible. This basically hard protects all of your cards and turns them onto towers, and when your cards are all 3000 attack or bigger, that's really good because that means your opponent will have to beat over them, and that's through all the interruptions that they're providing by themselves already, and I really don't see that happening. This card is broken, and don't sleep on this card whatsoever. 3 copies of DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is the best card ever. Like, literally, it sets 2 scales directly from the deck, which is just amazing, so good. And you do go through 3 quite often, so I highly recommend running 3. I know some people run 2. 3 in my opinion is definitely the correct ratio. Now, 2 copies of DDD, Amnesty King, Doom, Machina, the brand new card coming out in Battle of Chaos. This card makes the deck so good. Basically, if you have a card in your other Pendulum Zone, you can target a Pendulum monster you control, or in your graveyard, special summon the card in your other Pendulum Zone, and then place a targeted monster in your Pendulum Zone, which is pretty cool. Nice, solid, scale 10 Pendulum effect, though that's not why this card is good. This card is good because you can basically Cyber Dragon Infinity summon it over a DDD monster you control as a material for free, and then you transfer the materials to that card. So that means if you just have your Gilgamesh on the field, you can just slap down your Machina right on top of it, and you just have a free 3000 body. That's tons of interruptions. It has a non-once per turn effect, a once per chain effect, that when a monster card your opponent controls activates its effect, you can quick effect detach 2 materials from the card or destroy a dark contract you control, and if you do, attach the opponent's card to it as a material. So this is really cool because usually you'll be ending on it with 1 material, but you'll pop your own dark contract, seal it, and then you have 2 materials, so you can seal another card from your opponent, which is absolutely incredible. Next up, we have 1 copy of Duodong King Kali-Yuga. This card is great going second, just hard negate everything, but also you can make this going first. It can against a trap deck, and then just Harpies, Feather Duster, everything as a quick effect, which is incredible. 1 copy of Wave High King Caesar. This card lets you play around Nibiru. 1 copy of Marksman King Tell. This card is incredibly broken. You slap it on top of your Caesar, and it's basically a Foolish Burial, which is incredible. And then 1 copy of Caesar, which searches you a free DDD card or a dark contract, so you're going to be searching your Eternal Darkness with these 2 cards. These are mandatory for the combo. 1 copy of Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok. This card is pretty cool, and when it does come up, it is game ending, though it doesn't come up too often, though I do still like to have it. 1 copy of Flame High King Genghis. This card is broken, free revive, highly recommended. 1 copy of our DDD Oracle King Dark. Cool thing about this card, it is a level 7, and you have your level 1 Lamia, so you can actually synchro into the Siegfried with this card, and on top of that, any effect damage that would inflict damage to you, gain the life points instead, and this is really sick in the deck, and I really do love this card in here. 2 copies of DDD Flame King Genghis, a free monster reborn is incredible, so yeah, you really do have to run 2 copies of this card. I think it's mandatory. And finally, we have our 1 copy of DDD Cursed King Siegfried, our spell and trap negate, and it's a really cool card. And that's basically it for my DDD deck profile. Stay tuned for the combo video. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash the like, comment down below what you guys think of the deck. Before, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and I'll appreciate it a ton, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Alright guys, peace.